on the deficit elimination plan that was submitted. Talked to Penny, and of course, she's been in communication with Treasury. They've not asked for any additional information, so right now the ball is in their court. If they need additional clarification, they'll be asking, and so we're hoping to hear something very soon. This week is Truman High School's homecoming week. I'm looking forward to good weather for this Friday's football game. I'll be posting pictures of the parade, the game, and of course the crowning of the King and the Queen on the Facebook. Good luck to Truman, and please make sure to check the district Facebook for the posters that Truman marketing students have designed to announce their homecoming theme. I'll have those posted right after the meeting tonight. Kind of a shout out to teacher Carly Lundgren and her marketing students. They have acquired a new poster maker, and it'll produce pretty good sized posters. So they've done a really nice kind of superheroes theme for their homecoming, and those will be posted on the Facebook here in just a bit. I'm going to pause just a minute while I jump into the next one on third grade reading retention. Here is one of many articles that was floating around on this topic. And just to kind of recap, third grade reading retention bill came up last year. It was discussed, it was tabled, it was brought back up to the conference committee, and it looked like it might not go anywhere again, except it was compromised on out of the conference committee and then signed into law. The compromise that was created does allow a little bit of fluidity to that hard cut of what would otherwise be an automatic retention, which is good news, because a one-size-fits-all model usually doesn't fit everyone. And what the compromise says, if you look at the second paragraph in the article, it basically says that a third grader who cannot read at grade level, as demonstrated by the state assessment, may still advance to the fourth grade if they receive remedial reading instruction and if they demonstrate proficiency in other third grade subjects as measured by state assessments or work samples. Of course, the ultimate goal of this law is to help increase the number of third graders throughout the state, and of course for us here in Taylor who are proficient readers. There's a lot of research that shows that of course proficient reading and literacy skills coupled with sound reasoning and inferencing, that's really the foundation of your learning. So I definitely applaud everyone's efforts to put extra resources and thought into this, and I am glad that the compromise is there, because again, we know one size doesn't fit all, and learning is a lot like vertical growth or any other kind of growth. As you're a developing student, some kids grow a little bit earlier than others, some kids master some of those reading benchmarks a little bit earlier than others. So having a compromised workaround is critical. Building on this, Marianne and I met with elementary principals today, and we discussed this topic, among others, at length, really through the lens of examining ways in which we can expand the current use of enrichment and remediation times that exist already in the elementary schedule. Another part of this discussion was, of course, centering around our need to make sure we've got aligned and sequenced common elementary curriculum and working towards those common schedules that stipulate dedicated times each day and each week in all 4 core areas of instruction. Lastly, of course, we talked about our reading and our literacy partners who are already here helping us towards this goal, and a special thanks goes out to the tutors from Beyond Basics who are helping Myers. We were working on a Myers Media Day that'll be coming up later in the month to talk about taking a look at Beyond Basics and how that program's doing. So I'll keep you posted on that date. Last week I met with Pastor Cozier, Pastor Jones, and Father Leo from the Ministerial Alliance. They had approached me to ask how they might and how their parishioners might help fill a void that was created with the dissolution of the reading corps. And really what they had is they have a bunch of congregants and a bunch of volunteers or retirees who are excited about possibly being a reading buddy or a mentor to help some of our students in the elementary schools. And the more we talked about it, the more we realized that as you look at Taylor and where the elementary schools are located, for the most part, there's probably a church or a few right in those areas because they tend to be in residential communities, much like the schools. And so we meaning Marianne and I, are going to talk a little bit more with our elementary principals to get some clarification around how best to structure this. And we've been invited to the next Ministerial Alliance meeting luncheon right down the road here on North Line And so we'll put our heads together about how to better package this and help leverage some real volunteer support and opportunity. A quick Neola policy proposal. Let me get a handout out to you. I've been working with Sandy Kruger, who is our local Neola rep, and just to give you a little background on Neola. What we have here in Taylor, much like just about every district in the state, is a board policy pack that is an MASB, Michigan Association of School Boards, policy manual kit. And a few years ago, Michigan Association of School Boards policy division was bought out by Neola. Neola is a Midwest company out of Coshocton, Ohio, and they have the corner of the market. MASB no longer provides legal support. They no longer provide annual updates. They no longer provide board policy training and help guide school boards through this process. So I do know from experience, I've worked with Neola in 2 prior districts. What they do is exactly what I just mentioned. They provide the policy support, the legal analysis, the website hosting and maintenance, the electronic updates, and twice a year they send a policy expert to the district to sit down with the superintendent or with the superintendent and a board policy committee to walk through the 2 different types of policies that we typically look at and work on each year. And what those are, of course, are the legally mandated policies, the ones that are federally enacted that really must be updated by law. And then they guide you on the ones with which you have some latitude. So obviously every district is different, and you want to take a look at those policies and fine-tune them according to your local community. So what I've shared with you is basically a pricing portfolio from Neola. It is not inexpensive, but I did want to at least put it before the board for your consideration. They offer an opportunity to purchase policies or policies and administrative guidelines. Your board policies, that's your bread and butter legally. The administrative guidelines pack has the equal cost, but those things can be developed later on. And then they offer a multi-year agreement if you want to spread the payments out. So really all I wanted to do was make sure I alerted the board members to this, gave you the paperwork. It's a lot of fine print. I'm not going to go over it any further now. Please do read it, and let's be prepared to discuss at our meeting next week at the committee of the whole meeting. So we'll take this topic up and then discuss with a little more detail. Kind of on that same note, one more thing coming out. Got a lot of handouts tonight. So this one is a closed session reference guide. Thanks to Pat Delatorre and HR for developing this draft. Really, it's a one-page draft, kind of closed session reference, and it's kind of a one-sheeter to help clarify allowable reasons for moving into closed session, to clarify required number of members present to move to closed session, clarify reasons for abstaining from a vote on an action item, and then to describe how those votes are tallied for the remaining members in the event that a member has to abstain. So again, just review. We're not acting on this in any way, but take a look at this, and let's also talk about this at the committee of the whole meeting next week. And what I would like some guidance on from the board is, if you like the idea of this, then let's take this draft and we can get it before legal counsel just to make sure it has been fine-tuned and it's approved. And then it's something that can be handy up here at board meetings. It can be in your desk drawer, just a one-page kind of quick reference guide. So thank you, Pat, for putting that together.
Thank you.
Lastly, I'm continuing my work with Wayne Risa. Of course, big thanks to TFT and 26M for all their help with messaging for millage and bond. Special thanks as well to Jamie McCoy. She's been invaluable as we're working to kind of prepare, divide and conquer with many local businesses that have been identified as areas that we can communicate with and place millage and bond flyers. They've been posted to the Facebook as of earlier today. And then we have already begun to get the word out. I wrote an article, kind of partnered with Carl there. We'll have it coming out in the Taylor Today magazine, sharing both of the visuals as well. And Amy Atwood and I will be, she's yet to hear the full statement here, but we'll be working on an opportunity to get me over to the senior center so I can have a nice sit down and maybe do a town hall with some of the seniors who might have some questions about the bond and of course about the millage, and I'll be happy to talk to them. And this morning in the elementary principals meeting, I made sure to ask them if they're having PTO, PTA gatherings or arts councils or whatever other parent functions, to make sure to send it to me or send it to Kim so I can get it on my calendar and get out and begin to message this. It's my goal as we move forward to just begin to increase the messaging as we go over the next 4 weeks. So we're 4 weeks out and working diligently. So that concludes my report. And Mary Ann.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have 4 big highlights to add to the curriculum and instruction piece. The first one is training. We attended a school advanced training this past week in preparation to launch the same training to our Taylor School District leadership team. This tool serves the needs of the state mandates and will also serve as a growth tool for our leaders. The school advanced tool is in keeping with the Thoughtful Classroom, which is the teacher tool chosen for our teaching staff. Our administrators have safeguarded their next staff meeting to walk the teachers through what we know as the STAGES program, and that serves as a data warehouse for the pre-observations, observations, post-observations, and artifacts. So as you can see, this process is one that needs to be taken slowly and methodically so that everyone feels a little more stress-free with the process. Communication is critical, and I'm very pleased that the TFT Union executive serves as a liaison between the leadership and teaching staff. Together, I'm confident that we will work together in the name of professional growth and student achievement. In terms of PBIS, I'm also pleased to share that we now have 10 out of 13 schools involved in what's known as PBIS. It's a professional behavior intervention system. There's positive behavior intervention system. There are stipends awarded to each building to support this program. The ultimate goal is to have our schools involved in this process. PBIS is conducive to lowering suspension rates, increasing retention rates, and building a positive climate and culture in the district. The district team has been formed with a leadership team as well as external coaches, and the next step is to ascertain internal coaches within the buildings to complete the school teams. I'm happy to continue to keep you abreast of the journey. Mr. Williams mentioned the TBLA open house, and it was a pleasure to be at that activity. There were so many people in the labs, and there were also a whole host of community partners. But what was most impressive was the students who came up and either hugged Pat Scott or the teachers and thanked them for their level of commitment and thanked them for a second chance for them to be able to graduate. So it was very heartfelt.